Okay, I'm in a little picnic area off the side of the Natchez Trace Parkway here in north central Mississippi. And as I'm driving along the trace, there are just these wild dogwood trees all over the place. And I don't know if you can see this, but they are just sort of dotted in the landscape just about everywhere, in full bloom here in mid-March, which also is very unusual. But yeah, the Natchez Trace Parkway, this section here south of Tupelo has just been a beautiful drive. Just out in the forest there, as far as you can see, every so often there's a dogwood tree out there. Of course, there's the legend of the dogwood blossom there. The legend of the dogwood tree. You can see that it's cross-shaped, and it appears to have bloody nail holes at the end of each petal there of the flower, and a little crown of thorns in the middle. What do you know? And so the legend is that the dogwood tree used to be a large tree, and it was that kind of wood which the original cross that Jesus was hung on was made of. And so thereafter the dogwood tree was cursed and stunted. Now it's a very small tree usually, and it bears the signs of the Passion there in the blossom. Smells good too, kind of like honeysuckle. Natchez Trace Parkway, mid-March 2012. At Witch Dance Picnic Area. Ooh, spooky. Apparently witches used to gather here at some time, is the legend. Apparently you can camp here if you're riding or hiking this Natchez Trace trail here. I'm going to document some of this tornado damage through here. This is incredible. I'm still on the Natchez Trace Parkway, further south than I was earlier, and just north of Tupelo, Mississippi. I'm just north of Eupora, Mississippi right now, and there is just miles and miles of ravaged forest from last spring's tornadoes. Wow, look at that. Just goes on and on. It's like the tornadoes just came right down this road. Maybe about a 4-mile stretch. Just stripped the trees. The ones that are still standing are stripped. Both sides of the road. Well, this is usually a beautiful tree-lined road, but after last April, it looks like this now. Amazingly enough, an old friend of mine's husband was driving along down here last spring and in his pickup truck and was sucked up. It's almost like a tsunami of air came through here, because this has some similarities to the devastation over in Indonesia from the tsunami, where all the palm trees were stripped and knocked down in a similar way by the water. Whew. Well, and then here's what a normal section of the road looks like. Very beautiful, tree lined with archaeological sites and historic sites along the way. Natchez Trace Parkway, Spring 2012, south of Tupelo. Stopped off to see a couple more Indian mounds. I was at Owl Creek Mounds this morning. Not a spectacular sight by any means, but they are quite interesting when they excavate them. There's layers of different colored soils up there. They were originally flat topped with a building on top, like a temple of some kind perhaps. They know it was ceremonial because there's very few pot shards. They were never really occupied, or this area was never really occupied with dwellings. They know that, and so they usually gathered here for some kind of ceremonies. They have no clue what god it was or what the content of the rituals were. Little spot here by those mounds. Wisteria just going crazy out here in this early spring. My relatives that live down here in this area say they've never seen it this purple before. And you can just see this part of the forest here. It's just thick with it. It's just covered with it everywhere. Incredible.